I find myself on a daily basis um, just being grateful, really just putting everything into perspective, man, and just expressing gratitude. Not even making a conscious effort to do so, man. I just look around, man, and because everybody's just doing the best that they can with the cards that they've been dealt. And we don't have much control, certainly not as much as you think, over the cards that you have to work with. I'm here blessed enough to be able to ponder and reflect. I wind down, towards the end of the night in a warm, cozy shelter. Got a bottle of wine if I choose to relax. Got some books. I'm able to do this with a microphone and camera. And this is a blessing to be able to do this. It really is. Coming from work, from time to time I see this gentleman, a young man, can't be too much older than his mid-20s, early 30s. And he stands on the side of the road with a sign, and he needs help. He needs some money. I didn't really have much that I could do. Certainly not enough to change his situation. And I don't know what most people see when they look at someone who's in a down on their luck, I should say. It's the interesting thing about perception is it's difficult to fathom what's in someone else's head and understand how they view the world, I know that I see a human being. I see a person that's having a human experience that is enduring something that is not pleasant. I did what I could. We were similar in age, and I was curious as to what his situation was to see if I could further assist. Maybe me personally, I can't do too much, but maybe there's an organization that specializes in his set of circumstances that could, get him out of that sticky situation. I talked to him, man, and the ride home was difficult. This young man told me that the home that he was living in had caught fire. He escaped through the window, and everything and everyone this young man had lost his home and all of his family in a house fire. I couldn't help but imagine that situation, man. And I want to apologize in advance if you just so happen to come across this video and you're like, man, this is a little bit much for what I wanted to endure today. I apologize, but yeah. A wise woman once told me, we had a small conversation about, just family and friends, the importance of those relationships and how amazing they truly are. because you don't pick your family, you can't pick your friends, but there's something that amazing that happens that you can't necessarily explain that makes them your friends. And she said, if everyone that you know and love is gone, everyone else is just a stranger. You think about that for a moment, man. Just to look at that situation in its entirety, because we often, some of us, we look at people who are in those situations and we draw conclusions, we make assumptions, but the one thing that we don't process is how close a decent portion of us are to that exact situation. I mean, a couple of paychecks, a significant injury, and a lack of support. You're there. You're there. A lot of families miss 2 paychecks. Wow. Um, to think that that young man has to endure that, and he's just doing the best that he can. Also that you tend to, I feel like it's at this point human nature for us to be kind of solution-based thinkers. We see a scenario that includes some form of problem, and we try to come up with ideas to fix it. We enjoy being correct. We enjoy knowing the answers. We enjoy giving that advice. So the first thing a lot of us do when we see someone in that situation is, hey man, you should be doing this, you should do that. But we never ponder over why that person didn't do that. We never think to ask or just inquire about what roadblocks, what barriers were in the way. What barrier was there in between that individual and the solutions that you just proposed? Who's to know if he or she even had the information to interpret, to even be able to conceptualize those solutions that you just proposed? It's rough, man. I think now more than ever, we should be looking to open our hearts first, not necessarily our wallets. We open our wallets when we're looking for some form of return for the service that we just did. I mean, it could just be out of the kindness of our hearts. That could be our payment to see someone okay. You helped them out when they needed it. And by God, you better hope that someone's able to the day that you need help, because you will need help. Everyone has someone to thank. So I say all that to say this, man. If you're going through a rough patch, and it happens. There's some ups and there's some downs. And that's life, You're blessed to experience the downs just as you are the ups. You woke up this morning. I don't need to say any more. You're blessed. Be thankful for all the little things that you've got in your life. For a lot of us, it certainly could be worse. we're all connected, So I think it's important to understand what it is to be human. Let's do that first. And I think the rest will follow. If we begin to develop that true understanding, or as much of an understanding as we possibly can manage, because no one really knows, right? This is all amazing. I mean, just sit back and think about who you are as an individual. I mean, you yourself, you're sitting down and you can reflect and you can think about your life overall, who you are as an individual, and who you were 5 to 10 years ago is a completely different person from who you are today. Because we're constantly evolving and changing and growing. And it's such a slow, gradual process that it's difficult to detect that change. In fact, you could open a door. You could experience some form of trauma. And you can forget temporarily who you are. There's a possibility you can forget who you were. Wow. And you're going to keep going and keep changing. You're going to keep learning. And every single one of us on this planet is that complex. I think if you're cognizant of that small piece of information, I think that it makes it significantly easier to understand what it is to sit across the table from another person, another human. You're looking at someone who has their own set of experiences, understandings, friends, family, ups, downs, ideas. They're a complete, unique individual. We're all just different versions of ourselves, different versions of one another, just trying to figure this whole thing out. We've been dropped in this sometimes bizarre realm filled with these arbitrary rules and these organizations and processes, and though it may be convenient to deny it, and I also could be wrong in my understanding, but it seems as if some of these organizations and processes and rules and regulations are kind of pulling us apart. Kind of removes the root, the human aspect. Yeah, I think about that from time to time, man. I say all that to say this, man. Just be well, be blessed. Be thankful that you can pick up that phone if you still have your parents in your life, your grandparents. If you've got a group of friends who are genuine friends and they care about your well-being and they celebrate your victories and they're there to lift you up when you fall in the pit, and you do the same for them, be grateful for that, man. That is a blessing and a half. I don't know, some more random thoughts.